Buenos dias. Welcome to Rise and Shine broadcast. Patty Zito. At some point, many of us stopped listening to ourselves. Everyone. And I'm pretty sure not because we planned it. Uh I see it so clear in my life that when it starts getting loud, and I start getting busy, the less I listen to myself. So I like to share always from Rise and Shine from my experience, and I will love for you guys to join in the conversation. Every Friday, I'm here at 8:30, maybe 2 or 3 minutes after. However, um, I want to start this conversation, this topic, especially for the month of May. April showers, May flowers, as we are blooming, as we are remembering who we are, as I am remembering who I am. So, for, I will say that one of the things that I've been noticing just really for the past maybe a month. No, I guess it's been 2 months without being on TikTok. I'm still on Instagram and I'm still in Facebook and I'm still scrolling those two. Um, just for transparency here, right? But one of the things about TikTok for me was that it was provoking a lot of questioning of other things and how that um ultimately just is affecting me in the way I think. So, in other words, I felt I was being influenced by a certain narrative and a certain thinking. And when I first, before I got back into the scrolling Instagram and Facebook, one of the first things that when TikTok is off or when you're used to doing a pattern, a habit, for me, is that I get bored. Dun, 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 dun. And bore for this chick right here, most of my life, I've had this saying that I truly want to change. I will say only boring people get bored. So for so many years, I've been like the fun patty, and I know some people, if you've been in my after school program or summer camp, and I was a director, I was most likely, yes, crazy, but I know I was very strict. But anyway, because safety is first. Anyway, putting that aside, when you got in the circle, I just always been a funny patty, just what I want to do. And I realized that it was, yes, part of me, but also part of the patty that did not want to be boring or get bored. So pulling out TikTok went right into that boredom, um, which left me really vulnerable, really uncomfortable. I don't know if that's something that you experience, or maybe you are right now still busy, and or maybe you stopped and maybe that's why you stopped for this YouTube title, and you're like, dang it, now what do I have? Me. But I want to say something interesting. So at first it felt like vulnerable, naked, I don't like it. And there was one afternoon, I'm not sure if I shared this already, but if I did, well, let's do it again. I decided to tell Alexa, and I should be careful about saying things because now all of a sudden now she's listening. I unplugged her. I turned off my phone, turned off my laptop, turned off my iPad, like all the devices. And all of a sudden, It was blank canvas, and I was young again. I felt I was most likely 6, 7. I can't believe that number, but seriously, first, second grade, who knows, around there. I'm just sitting with myself in my imagination and trying to make something because I love being creative. But it was quiet and it was just me. It was me and my creativity. And it happened so suddenly. Like I felt like a child again when I turned everything off, and it felt like a bubble. It felt very safe. And I remember how creative I am and how I will find things. But in order for me to be creative, when I was a child, I needed to be quiet. And it could have been maybe a little younger. I'm 4 years younger than older than my sister. So I did feel like I spent a lot, like the 4 years of my life, very quiet, very lonely. Um, in a way, because my mom and both my parents, my mom was a full-time teacher, my dad worked for this company, and they were full-time parents, and I had a nanny and Maria. Are you still here, Maria? Oh my gosh. If I can find you, if somebody can help me find you, that would be awesome. I gotta ask my mom, what's your last name? Anyway, she was my nanny for more than four, I guess, because even when Claudia was here, so I would say for a decade of my life. Anyway, so, but I did spend a lot of time alone. And it was that alone space time that I was most likely, I'm still remembering those things, right? When I allow myself to be bored, when I allow myself to pause, where I'm remembering what I will do, right? Or what I was curious about, or the questions I was asking. I still ask a lot of questions, but it has come from very young age. I've been asking questions for a very young age. So it was interesting. And so I wanted to come and share that. And I wanted to hear your thoughts as well. Um, you know, when did we stop? And I know for me, I mean, I'm 40 something. I've also stopped before. Like I stopped when I joined a church back in 2001, where things slowed down. The less I was busy about creating things and doing things and just sitting more with myself in the morning. That was another time where I was listening to, um, actually, I most likely not listening to myself, but what I will do is that when I will read the Bible back in the day, I would really make it a point to reflect on it and not just to take the word. And I don't know, to some people that could be like a wrong thing. I don't care. um, I love reflecting. So, but that was in my 20s. So I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you're at. Um, but my question is, where did you stop listening to your own thoughts? Or maybe you do. Um, and I would love to know. I would love to know. So, what I do know based on my life and my experiences, when I stop being busy. And I know that is so much easier said than done. Um, However, it is a choice. I believe it 100%. That is our choice, our responsibility, um, to change that. And this is an invitation. These are reflections here in Rise and Shine, for us to ponder, to continue asking, to continue to share, and continue a conversation. So, Before I go, and before you move with the rest of your day, I don't know what time you're listening to this, but the question is this: Where in your life, right? Where in your life have you been overriding yourself? So, I guess the sample for me, back when I was reading about taking its word instead of just taking it for what it is, but really reflecting of how that looks like for me in my life and for my personal relationship with God, um, was something that I did override myself for I would say for 10 years until I have to be it's so clear to me, it's clear as day, until I moved to Staten Island. I'm from Queens. Well, I was born in Peru, obviously. I think I said this 1,000 times, but I was born in Staten Island and sorry, I was born in Peru. I lived in Staten Island for the longest in my whole life, which is big because I lived over 25 homes by now. And Staten Island has been the longest. So, I guess in a way it is home. Um, but I did override myself for the first 10 years, and it wasn't until I moved then where I really started allowing my own reflection and my own observation and my own experience with my own life to not listen to like what the preacher was saying, what the message was supposed to be about, but what was it for me in my own personal relationship. And yeah, I would love to know, where are you overriding yourself, your thoughts? And I'll leave it as that. Um, because I understand that remembering who we are is a process, is a journey. I, I find it very frustrating for people to say that, it's like a magic pill would just kind of like wake up. And I'm guilty of wanting that, of like that easy button. My students will know exactly what I'm talking about. um, and it will happen in moments. Love for you to share and just continue the process, right? Because, huh, wow, I guess I keep thinking about remember me. Um, and I want to add is to remember us. And what I mean by that, since I shared this about my childhood, I did feel the closest to God when I was young, when I was bored, when I was alone. And that felt real. There was no Bible in there. That it felt as a relationship. I didn't think that today's topic was going to be about that, and I love that. This is why we do it live, and I love for you guys to join live. I'm here every Friday, 8:30. Hear your thoughts. You could come up here. I could give you a link. We could chat, or in the comments. Either way, but the conversation can happen at any time. This is in my YouTube channel. Please drop it in the comments below, or I will see you next Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for joining. If you've been listening this far, thank you, new friend. Patty Zito. I see you next Friday. Bye. Oh, it's still